Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It is jet lag, Jess still here checking in. I did not sleep last night, so just go ahead and add that to why this video is the way it is. This video is a review, as you can see, of Problematic Summer Romance. I'm gonna stop you right there. Jessica, what? Shh. Okay. I am an adult with the ability to choose to do things that I want to do. So that just flat out, I've said I'm gonna read this book, and that should be enough. However, I do have ups and downs with Ali Hazelwood. Okay, I read The Love Hypothesis. Is that what it was called? Y'all know how I felt about that. Did not like it, like at all. Then I read another one of her contemporary ones. Another, they're all STEMmy, and I like that one a lot more. I think I gave it 3.5, 3.7. Then I read Bride, which I think is the one I've liked the most from her. Really liked the paranormal romance. Will be reading the sequel, so I was like, okay, I can give this one another chance. Now, I did give Deep End a chance, and I DNF'd it pretty early on because I was like, oh, 22, 23-year-olds really don't want to read about that. So then Problematic Summer Romance, I was like, I haven't read that many age gaps. I'm gonna give this a chance. Okay? I shouldn't have explained myself, but I did anyway. Anyway, I read Problematic Summer Romance. I did not DNF it, I read the whole thing, okay? We're gonna start out with no spoilers. We're gonna get into spoilers. I'm afraid the no spoilers section is obviously gonna be shorter because I have a lot of we'll see, okay? Anyway, Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood. This is gonna sound really strange, but Ali Hazelwood, from her writing, no, I was gonna say she seems like that person who would get on your nerves at work, but like if you hung out with them outside of work, they were cool. But then I hear good things about her, like within the industry, like supporting other authors and stuff like that. So like, I guess that way, in author way, she's a good like peer, but her writing aggravates me, but she seems like she would be a fun person to hang out with. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyway. Like I said, I'm going to read the sequel to Bride. I feel like paranormal romance really is her bag. That's where she shines brightest for me. And I also have asked myself after reading this book, because the last couple contemporary romances I have read, nothing is working for me. I'm like, is it me or is it the books? And you know what? I've had a hard year. So I'm going to say it's the books. I'm not taking the blame. No, I'm not. So Problematic Summer Romance. How many times can I say that title? Is an age gap romance, okay? Contemporary romance. We have, what's her name? Maya. She's 23. And she's a fucking genius in STEM. And we have Connor Harkness. But they call him Hark. He's 38. So I think there's a 15-year difference. It's the main setting is in Sicily, which I was like, oh, that made me, some fond memories, especially since it's in Taormino, one of my favorite places that we visited in Sicily, for Maya's brother's wedding. And her brother is older. He, I think, is the same age as Connor, is 38. So it's a destination wedding, limited party, whatever. Connor's at the wedding. Oh, no. And I did not read the first one, Not in Love, which at first felt like that was to my detriment, even though people said you can read it, and you can read Problematic Summer Romance without reading Not in Love. But at first it just seemed like there was better setup for all of the characters if you had read the first one. Just throwing that out there. So anyway, Maya's brother is getting married in Sicily. She doesn't want to go because something with Connor, and we eventually figure that out because the book is told in the present day and in flashbacks. Which it can be hit or miss, and in this instant was a miss for me. So she, her and her brother, their parents died. She ended up, he took custody of her, and, youth, emotions, womp womp. She ran away after high school and went to school in Scotland for university. And then she comes back to where they live, which is Austin, Texas. Her brother is working co-founder of some big health tech, biotech company, which Connor works at. So they have a lot of money. So it's, a lot of tech bro money up in here. So the majority, again, the story is told in the present day at the wedding and or in Sicily, but like leading up to the wedding, and of course things are going wrong, or they're worried about such and such, and wah wah wah, and she has to confront her feelings with Connor, and like, I say confront, it's really her begging this man to be with her. But anyway, and then flashbacks, because essentially he knew her when she was growing up, because she her parents died, her brother took custody, he was obviously 15 years older than her, so like she knew Connor then, not like they weren't like super close, but she knew of her brother's friends and other people. There was someone that she said that Connor dated that she looked at as a mother figure, so like he was in her life when she was a young teen. And then she went off to university and something happens. She tries to reach out to her brother during this like moment of crisis. And she reaches Connor instead. And so they like form this friendship over the years. But then something happens and they stop talking. And then we get here to the present at the wedding. So that's as much as I can say kind of about the plot, which I don't think it needs to be super plot heavy in a contemporary romance, because I'm here for the romance, but here's what did not work for me: the romance. And I've had this problem in numerous contemporary romances recently, where the romance to me doesn't feel real. The people, like, it's not like the people didn't feel real, but I don't buy into like these two people should be together. There was nothing that felt swoon. I didn't feel like, yes, these are true emotions. This is a healthy relationship. They're good for one another. Like, I had none of those feelings, none of the lines, or, that everyone's underlining. I felt none of that. I felt annoyance. And like, please don't be together, actually. I felt a lot of that. And also, okay, age gap, right? Which I've only, to my memory, read one before, and I noped out pretty quick. But here's the thing. It's titled Problematic Summer Romance. So like, because in my head, I'm like, why not just make her 25? You still have a big age gap, but whatever. We're gonna make it problematic. Here's my thing. You could have sold me on this if Allie had put as much time and effort into believable like buildup of a relationship, or I don't know, making Maya not so desperate for this man and begging him to be with her, or I don't know, giving Connor a personality besides I'm a cold, closed off rich man who's older than you. And maybe if she had done those things instead of reiterating every other fucking page that there was an age gap. Okay, I'm just gonna give you a few little quotes. Literally, it would be almost every page, every other page, some quip, whether a joke or them being serious about the age difference. And usually it was like a joke from her about how young she was or how geriatric he was, but then he would be serious, like, no, you really are too young. I'm like, okay, stop telling me. I know, but like, you could have had addressed it in different ways. Like, obviously they're both going to acknowledge it. You could have had it addressed with her brother being like protective older brother, her friend being like, girl, I don't know. And those could have been like some external conflicts that they had, and less about that, and it was more about their actual relationship. But their entire relationship is, you're too young. No, I'm not. Like, okay, here we go. I'm just going to read a couple. At 12%, apparently age gaps are highly morally objectionable. They're talking, it's like, told you, not 13, still not sure about that. I'm an adult. I go to school in a different country. I have a credit card. I own sex toys. You stalked my Instagram, didn't you? He glares. I'm an adult man. This is like 25%, 27%, 26%. At 27%, you really aren't 13 anymore, are you? Nope, I'm an adult who has had sex in pretty much every position under the sun. This might be untrue. I honestly have no idea. Just kidding. Age is nothing but a number and all that. Don't say that. Why? Because it's some piece of shit who hangs out in online forums on minors would say. I laugh, but he doesn't. Holds my eyes as he says, age is years of accumulated experience. Age is lessons learned. I hope you lied to him and saved those €5, daddy, because there's like a scene where somebody thinks that she's his daughter and gives him like a reduced rate for like a ticket. And I just honestly, that's just like a sampling. I had 138 highlights from that book, and majority of them are references to their age gap, mostly from both of them. It was so tiresome. I was like, we get it. There is an age gap, but like, do they have anything else in common? The answer is no. It just felt so ridiculous. And then you have the side characters who are there, and like, that was fine. I honestly, and there oddly were like all of these different women who were there at the wedding too, who Connor had dated. I don't know why that was necessary, but like there was one who I honestly felt more chemistry and tension on page for a little while between Maya and one of his exes than with him. Like, I was like, yeah, girl, you should date her. Y'all would be great together. But there literally felt like they had nothing in common besides he thinks she's hot, but he shouldn't because she's too young. And she thinks he's hot and he should date me because I'm an adult. Like, that's it. Like, that's all they had in common. That's all they would talk about was their fucking age. And then I felt like, obviously this is a contemporary romance. It has an HEA, but the way that was done was so rushed. And if you want to know like what, then go to the spoilers. But the biggest problem with this book was how many times she had to like smack us to be like, hey, there's an age gap. Hey, there's an age gap. Did you know there's an age gap? Did you know she's 23? Did you know he's 38? Like, nothing else. Maya was insufferable. And I was like, girl, stand up. You're this smart girl who's gotten into these things, got an offer from MIT, offer from all these programs, and you just blah, 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 blah for a man. Like, please, me, pick me, choose me, love me. And he's like, no, little girl, no. Yeah, so, I don't know. I guess I give it 2 stars. That's what I would give it. But we're gonna go get into spoilers. I don't know why I did that. We're gonna get into spoilers. 3, 2, 1. You know I can't count good. Anyway, okay. Besides the ridiculous amount of things that I marked that I could read to you, I will spare you because it's literally 138 of those. At least 100 of those are age related quotes. But there were other things that bothered me. Again, Maya, this super smart person who like graduated early, went to university in Scotland, had all these offers for her post-grad education. And the way things are, like, the way they happen in the book, essentially, she, like, breaks up with her college boyfriend, is trying to contact her brother, gets Connor instead. And so she thinks he's in Texas, but somehow he's in Ireland, that's where he's from. And then he shows up in a few hours to Edinburgh to, like, you know, stunt on her roommate and be like, she's got this older man. So they build this relationship where she starts calling him and talking to him all the time about whatever, and sending her gifts and stuff because to apologize or whatever for leaving her in this hotel, because she of course keeps trying to have sex with him and he's like, no, you are too young, because it starts at 20. And then he decides that he's gonna date a woman his age, and that's where they like stop talking, and then there's like a 10-month gap, and then we have here at the wedding, she doesn't want to see him because he stopped talking to her. And then we have all the different women that he's dated who are also at the wedding, including one that he had asked to marry her, and that was the same one that Maya said she saw as a mother figure when she was young. And so that, I just am like, why did, I know he wasn't like super close to her, but I'm like, why did they even need to know each other when she was young and he still was an adult already? Problematic, I guess. But also, again, they keep doing these, she keeps calling him geriatric. He keeps being like, aren't you 13? You're like, you're just a little college student. Like, all these references to her being too young, too immature, he needs to be with a woman his age. She should be with somebody her age. Like, keep saying that back and forth. And so I felt this one scene was super weird, and I saw someone else saying this in their review. Okay, they're finally doing some business, and this just bothers me because before this you have I don't think your child is, and even if you were, you're young, you have so much room to grow, and it doesn't matter because I like you the way you are. Because she said, do you really think that I'm a childish brat? And then this gets into them doing the whatever. He yanks my underwear to the side, non too gently, a bunch is there, whatever, talking about, you know, she's about to get felt up. But it's just weird that she goes, it bunches there, slick, right next to my bare slit. And I hadn't shaved in months before this trip. I did before coming here simply because I knew I'd be wearing bikinis, and I'm glad of it now. I doubt Connor would care either way, but I love feeling every pass of his tongue, every movement as he nibbles and teases and eats. And then paired with, most of my time is spent convincing Connor that I'm a grown woman, but right now I feel like a girl. A fluffy, insubstantial thing, boneless and winded with nothing to keep time save for the residues of pleasure twitching through me. Why did we have to really sandwich the thing about her making sure she shaved and was bare before just because she was wearing bikinis? Sure. With you think I'm childish, and usually I'm trying to convince him a grown woman, but right now I feel like a girl. I just didn't like that. That made me feel uncomfy. Also, she essentially has these choices of these post-grad programs, and like how the book puts it, basically with like her interacting with him and being like, yeah, I'm gonna choose to go back to Austin. I'm gonna go to UT Austin for the program. It made it seem like she was following this man. She eventually has, where we are in the present day, has these offers from like MIT and this other big thing in California. One's academia, one is basically going into the field, and she's between the two of them and ends up not taking either of them because she says she wants to be I think an elementary school teacher, which there's no shame in that. That's amazing to be a teacher, but again, it gives the I am staying here in Texas because Connor is here. That's what it gives, because literally they get together, end of the book, go home. There's like 2 or 3 weeks that pass because he has to do international travel. He proposes to her. They have been talking for 2.5 years, not for 10 months, get back together, and then he finally gets over the age thing after she has worn him down. They're together for like 2 weeks, and he asks him to marry her. Not in like the least romantic way. Like, I just think that's crazy. Like, girl, you're giving up, and you know, there's good points to going into the scientific field, good points against going into academia because of how it is, but how desperate she was for this man, it really felt like, yes, I am making these choices to turn down amazing career opportunities to stay here in Texas to be with my man. And who needs money because he's rich, and also her brother is rich. She don't have to worry about that. So like, that bothered me. Again, I felt she had more chemistry with one of the women that Connor used to date. Connor has no personality besides he's a emotionally repressed rich white boy who had a toxic dad. And I think it's even one of the quotes, like, you know, as she's talking to one of his exes, saying like, you know, he's got his rich boy problems and I feel bad for him. I'm like, he's 38 at this point. He's had these issues with his father ongoing. He has all of this money. He can just jet set whenever he wants. He can go to therapy. Like, that was not sexy to me. He had no personality besides, I'm a closed off man because my daddy was not emotionally available. Okay, join the club. And a lot of us don't have money to get to deal with that. Go to therapy. Like, that was so whack. There was no other personality. And then there are a couple things you find out, like, he end up paying for like her Spotify or whatever music subscription service, so like he would just listen to songs she listened to. I'm like, cool. Like I can't tell you what other thing they had in common besides thinking the other was hot and too young or too old, and then proximity. It felt, and she was like, she left high school to go to university, and then university kind of got messed up with how her friend group was because I was tied in with the guy she was dating. She did come back, and she has like this girlfriend that she's really close to and that she lives with, but she's like talking to Connor all the time on the phone after, you know, she was trying to get to her brother, and she's like, you're my best friend, you're the only friend. I'm like, girl. And this is coming from somebody, I would like to say, this is coming from someone who has been in what we would call problematic age gap relationships and situationships in my past. Multiple, okay? She's not the only one with daddy issues. Hello, can relate. But I'm just like, and obviously, again, problematic. But I could look past all of those things with him knowing her when she's younger, the age gap, and even maybe her running after a man, if they at least had personalities independent of one another, and then they also were believable together. Cause it didn't give me any of that. Also, I'm so sorry. I know a lot of people say Tessa Bailey's smut is cringy, but Allie Hazelwood's is incredibly cringy because, you know, obviously she's a white woman. I am not. But I'm just like, do people really say these things? Like, he goes down on her, then she's like, let me do it to you. I would love to suck you off. Do people say that? I don't say that. That made me ew. Also, another weird thing, like, it doesn't need to be, sometimes it is blown out of proportion. And he doesn't need to like lose his shit and like beat up his friend. But I still found it very odd that her brother came to her being like, be gentle with Connor. He's emotionally repressed and he's been hurt and he doesn't know how to love. Instead of being like, okay, yeah, you're my friend, but that's also my little sister. Like that's what I would expect. So I felt it very odd for him to go to his little sister and be like, be gentle with him. What? Again. The man needs therapy. Like, let's seek help, please. He already thinks that he's a pervy old man stealing schoolgirls' underwear. He hates that I'm younger. It's not an irrational concern, Maya. You are at different stages in your lives. That's as much pushback as he gives. And then she asks, like, what if his fiance was 15 years younger than you? But just one of the flashbacks. I'm going to start dating a woman. I see, out of curiosity, how old is she? She's certainly not in her 20s. That's all it is, back and forth. And also, I'm gonna go to how this whole proposal happened. One, they're having sex, and I think, or they're getting ready to, and she's asking him like his deepest fantasy. And he basically says like, having a family, like a nice family. When we're hot and heavy and I'm asking about a fantasy, I'm not asking like, what do you want your future to look like? That's different. And he's like, I would just like a family. And then she's like, no. He says, or she says, what would you do if you weren't afraid to lose control? And you know what this man says? He's like, no, you don't want to hear it. She's like, tell me. I would put a baby in you. I put run in all caps. Run, girl. So sorry. I don't even care if you were 25, 30. Ugh, but 23? That's what's in your mind. And again, usually why large age gaps like this don't make sense, because 23 and 38 and he's his biggest thing, the first thing on his mind, what he would love to do is put a baby in you. Also takes me back to the first time they were hooking up and they did not confirm that she was on birth control and he didn't use a condom. And they later, after the fact, where he was like, but you are like on the pill or on the shot or whatever, right? And she is, but he was like, oh, basically talking about like good, because like, I don't know how good my pullout game is. Why are you a 38-year-old man relying on pulling out? Those are things an adult with a working, functioning brain should think about before they're having sex. Stuff like that pisses me off in romance books. But I would put a baby in you, and then a few pages later, I want to get married. So they have that, and then there's a few days later, and he's like, yeah, I'd love to get married tomorrow, but you are turning 24 in 3 months, and as I have been repeating ad nauseum, I am 38. The age difference is not your fault, and you shouldn't be rushed into important milestones just because of your geriatric status. There is a power differential here. Still, even in this moment, still saying it, I have and will again admit to have being a stubborn idiot when it comes to you, but to be clear, I do not think that the issues I brought up are no longer there. You remain much younger. I mean, I bet a good third of my assets that the waiter is currently wondering why I can't look away from my daughter. This is not hot! My point is, we do have to acknowledge that I'm older, have more life experience, and have more financial means. You've been doing it the entire book! This is at 88%! And then she's talking about, like, I'm not here for your money, like, because her brother has money, blah, 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 blah. He goes on a business trip, comes back, I haven't taken a single breath since Sicily. I'm like, well, that's factually a lie. Anyway, let me say. Again, with cringy smut writing. I want you to fuck me 1,000 times, everywhere you humanly can. And I'm just like, That's not cute to me. I don't know. And nothing is doing it for me anymore. A couple more things that I think I should have been like, yeah. And I was like, ugh. His hands ripped off the sheets of the mattress as cock jerks inside me. You are so fucking dangerous. And he pulls out, flips me on my belly, slams back in. His way into me, it is so agonizingly good. I see stars. Menace. If you don't get if a man was, you called me a fucking menace, I'd be like, I'm dry, get out. They like have been dating for 2 weeks, and her brother and like the friends that were at the wedding are like, I'm surprised you haven't proposed yet. In what world does that make sense? They have not been dating for 3 years. They've been dating officially 2 weeks, and you're surprised he hasn't proposed yet? He's like, yeah, I mean, I've been holding back. And then they're in bed together, and she's like, I agree. Aside from Eli begging us not to elope to Vegas in the next 2 weeks, which makes me want to do exactly that. Don't say that. I'm trying very hard not to ask you to marry me. And then he leaves out of the room, comes back with something. She's like, are you trying to distract me from the fact that you're proposing to me while we are both naked after we've been dating for approximately a month by pointing out my favorite star? And he's saying, I saw a ring. I thought you might like it, but you don't have to. And then she brings up in this moment, were you this nervous with one of his ex? What? I cannot do this. And he says, look, you don't have to say that you'll marry me. You're going through lots of changes, and I'm going to have to do the same. The ring, it can just be a reminder for you that I love you, that I want to marry you, that I'm a constant. God damn it, camera overheating, and so am I. Fuck. He said that I want to marry you, that I'm a constant, never-ending yes, and that whenever you're ready in 2 years or in 20, I'm here. In the meantime, we can be more casual. So you saying you want to marry somebody, but you can be casual? Okay. You're the least casual person I know. Yeah, well, that is unfortunately true. I hold my hand out to him, watch the unique vintage ring in his palm, the pearl, the diamonds set against, well, I don't know, whatever. I think it cut off. But again, they bring up the ex. You once said a year ago that I put me on a pedestal. Do you remember that? Why? And then you haven't even asked me the question yet. A short while later, I fall asleep with the ring on my finger. That is the most let me take it back. I don't know if that's the most unromantic proposal. But you're sitting there and you're saying, are you trying to distract me while you're proposing to me? You just got a ring while we've been dating for basically a month. And also, let's talk about your ex. You remember her and what you said about her? And he's like, you can just take this ring. It doesn't have to be anything serious. We could be casual. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck ass book. So, in conclusion, Ali Hazelwood reminded us hundreds of times that this is an age gap that was problematic. Maya was Maya was 23. I too was a desperate mess at 23, but it's not fun to read at my age now. This is Maya. I love you. I interrupt him. Calm even. I think I hear him die. Maya. I love you. No. I love you. And you are my best friend. No. I don't care that you're older. I don't care that you work all the time. I don't even care if your weird brain wants to pretend that we're just platonic pen pals until I hit 30. I will wait for you. I will wait for you. Stand up, Maya. God damn. It's like, girl, stand up. I want more for you. Connor had no personality besides emotionally repressed rich white boy. Boring. Go to therapy. Her brother was not being protective big brother enough for me. Yeah, just the romance, I wasn't buying it. And the sex, the smut was cringy. So again, I will be reading the second to Bride, but I think for Alia Hazelwood, I will stick with her paranormal. But in general, contemporary is just not doing it for me these days. And I think it's the books, it's publishing. I'm fine. my brain knows what a quality romance is, and these just ain't it. So, if you've read it, I would love to know your thoughts. Please. If you haven't read it, are you going to now? That's what the library's for. Anyways, Thanks for watching. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturize, and sunscreen. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.